According to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the crisis in Yemen is the world's worst humanitarian ever. Saudi Arabia has been bombing the country since 2015, and in November, Saudi Arabia and its Gulf allies strengthened pre-existing blockades on Yemeni ports, airports, and borders crossings, restricting food aid and vital supplies from entering the country. The Saudi-led coalition have claimed these restrictions have since been lifted by the humanitarian worker Suze van Meegen, who recently visited the main port of Hodeidah, described the port as a wasteland. The UN Security Council warned that last month that conditions in Yemen were further deteriorating as a result of ongoing bombing and blockades. French President Emmanuel Macron is set to welcome Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman in Paris for a three-day trip starting on Sunday, the latest destination in a worldwide tour for 32-year-old prince and de facto leader of Saudi Arabia. International human rights groups have called on Macron to pressure Prince Mohammed to take action to protect the civilian population in Yemen and end the conflict. A statement from Amnesty International, the International Federation for Human Rights, and Human Rights Watch said Emmanuel Macron should put Yemen at the center of his discussions with Mohammed bin Salman. He hosts, or as he hosts him in France as a permanent member of the UN Security Council, it must do its utmost to demand the Saudi Arabia respect its international obligations. The human rights groups also called for the end of bombing of civilians and respect for international humanitarian law and the unconditional and permanent lifting on restrictions on the delivery of humanitarian aid and commercial goods in Yemen. However, France, like the UK, is a major seller of arms to Saudi Arabia, and various rights groups have accused France of doing little to stop the flow of lethal weapons to the Saudi military campaign.